for Liverpool owners Fenway Sports Group, and John W. Henry's friendship with baseball analytics guru Billy Beane. How they might seek to address one issue with their Boston Red Sox is not likely to be applied successfully with the Reds. In baseball, Beane's reputation was born from realizing the value in undervalued players, replacing expensive and experienced stars with a number of cheaper alternatives to try and bring about the same kind of output. In Moneyball, the 2011 Hollywood movie focused on Beane's pioneering philosophy at the Oakland Athletics. Actor Brad Pitt delivers a line in a marvelous scene ere the scouts are all huddled around a table in the bowels of the Oakland Coliseum, where the topic of discussion is how Oakland replaced the star player who had just departed, Jeremy Giambi. "You're still trying to replace Giambi," says Pitt, portraying Beane. "I told you we can't do it. Now what we might be able to do is recreate him." And through using data analytics they managed to have a pretty good go at doing that, and so successful was the model that other Major League Baseball teams got wise to it and wanted to bring it in themselves. Among those enamored was Henry, principal owner of the Red Sox, who tried to hire Beane to spearhead the Boston club into a new direction. Beane declined the offer for personal reasons, but the relationship has remained pretty strong. So much so that Beane was involved in the failed Red Ball Special Purpose Acquisition Company with Redbird Capital's Jerry Cardinale last year. Red Ball might not have happened, but Redbird, minus Beane and through private investment did. Liverpool have adopted a similar data-driven approach aligned with football. And it is that kind of model that enabled them to see the value in players like Gini Wijnaldum and Andrew Robertson. It has been successful. The Oaklanders may have been able to recreate Giambi, but there is no recreating what Mohamed Salah brings to Liverpool. And for that reason the need for FSG to get a new deal tied up is of huge importance for their aspirations. While FSG have not been big spenders in the transfer market in comparison to their rivals, much to the chagrin of some Reds fans, they have invested in the wage bill at Anfield, a wage bill that now sits at £325 million per year, second behind Manchester City, and one that is set to rise even higher, and the next set of accounts are published as new deals. New signings and bonus payments for winning the Premier League are all calculated. In recent weeks the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Alisson Becker have all signed contracts with the Reds. The core of their squad that has delivered so much success in the past 3 years is sticking together. Salah is one that the Reds hope to get done, but one that remains unresolved. The numbers speak for themselves. In 204 games, he has netted 126 times and contributed 49 assists. At 29, he remains at his peak, and early season signs show that he has no intention of slowing down his output. The £35 million that was paid to AS Roma back in 2017 was an absolute snip. The pandemic has meant that the normal sharks who would have been on the prowl for the likes of Salah haven't the means to pull it off. Notably Barcelona and Real Madrid, and that is something that Liverpool have to take advantage of when it comes to tying him down for the long term. It can't simply be a decision about how his value would diminish in 3 or 4 years' time. It has to be about what he brings to the club in the here and now and how they very much require his services. If they are to achieve in the Premier League and Champions League and bring in the kind of prize money that they crave and that is needed for reinvestment. Both Transfermarkt and industry analysts KPMG have Salah's market value at around £90 million. But, in reality, if someone were to try and strong-arm the Reds, given that Jack Grealish cost £100 million and Harry Kane is talked about as a £150 million player, Liverpool would want north of £100 million you would expect. The window will shut soon, and are there the ready-made options for the kind of money that FSG would be willing to shell out? That could replace what Salah brings and how he operates in that deadly front three attack. Unless you are talking Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland, who else is there? Salah's value to Liverpool outstrips his value in the transfer market. And while Liverpool will need to think about what comes next after their aging group start to suffer a decline, there has to be the acknowledgement that the key parts need to be in place in order to facilitate that. The contracts signed so far represent good business. You would be hard-pressed to find too many better in Europe than each of those who have committed to the long term. FSG need Liverpool to be successful despite whatever new cycle may emerge. And for the next 2 or 3 years, they very much need Salah in order to make that happen. Especially when they aren't engaging in the market in the same way as the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea, and Manchester United. Ibrahima Konate is an obvious nod to the future and someone who Liverpool believe will develop into one of the best. And additions over the past 12 months or so, the likes of Diogo Jota, fit the kind of profile that the Reds want. But the present has to be addressed as well as the future. And without Salah aiding the cause in the present and having his future resolved, it could impact the future for the Reds. When it comes to achieving the kind of success that they need in order to maintain their financial structure and their ability to invest. They won't be able to recreate Salah right now, nor will they be able to replace him. That suggests that they should do what they have to keep him. Robert Lewandowski has reportedly told Bayern Munich he is looking for a new challenge, prompting Liverpool fans to call for a reunion with Jurgen Klopp. The Reds boss managed Lewandowski at his former club Borussia Dortmund, with the Polish striker vital to the side that reached the 2013 Champions League final. Unsurprisingly, Bayern have placed a £110 million price tag on the 32-year-old, who scored 41 league goals in 29 games last season, following his transfer admission, having been the person to bring Lewandowski to Germany from Lech Poznan in 2010. Klopp has made his feelings about the forward perfectly clear. In March, when asked in an interview with Bild who the best player he had ever worked with was, Klopp answered Lewandowski. "It actually won't be fair to say that about any other player except Louis," he said. "What he has made out of his potential, how he pushed himself to become the player he is today, that's extraordinary." The German coach couldn't speak highly enough of the Bayern man's work ethic, which has seen the Poland captain score 278 goals in 351 games. Louis took every step he needed to take to be that goal machine. Every one, he admitted. He has immersed himself in the game, he just knows in every situation what he has to do, where he has to go. Louis is an absolute machine. Lewandowski shouldn't be short of suitors if he is looking to leave the Bavarian club. Despite turning 33 in just a few days and his contract expiring in 2023. Liverpool will be one of those clubs consistently linked with the natural goal scorer, given Klopp's clear bond with the player.